I'm Tom Hood with this month's Lookout Post and the things that Maryland CPAs need to know right now. So for this month, we're thinking there's three major areas going on. Number one is pipeline and new CPAs. We'll talk about that. Number two is taxes, and more taxes, the second big tax season. And then third would be national issues and what our Maryland managing partners are thinking about that from a CPA firm perspective. So with that, let's get into it. So first is new CPA Swearing In Ceremony, November 10th. We believe supporting this idea of getting a CPA and showing the fact that it's the public interest that we're really out to support. So the Secretary of the Department of Labor and Licensing will be issuing the oath of office to these new CPAs. It's an amazing event. The State Board of Accountancy is there. I would encourage you to attend, sponsor it, and tell all the new CPAs you know to make sure they're there. So a new CPA Swearing In Ceremony is November 10th in the evening, 6 o'clock to 9 p.m., BWI Hilton Hotel. Make sure you make plans to be there. Second, taxes, and more taxes. So you guys have been busy. September 15, October 15, seems like the tax deadlines never end. What we're doing is we've got all the major conferences coming up, as well as into the winter, all the programs that keep you up on top of all the changing tax landscape. Everything from the ACA, the change in filing dates, to whether tax extenders will be back into law or not. And then anything else Congress decides to do on December 31st. Look for all those conferences and get out of the office. See other CPAs, kind of connect on all the different things going on, and look to us for all those things. By the way, also look at our tax listserv on our groups, federal and state tax, kind of like having your partners down the office from you. Third up is what we call the kind of national agenda and what Maryland managing partners and CPA firms are thinking about that national agenda. So national conference season is also this fall. We'll be attending a couple of those big ones, CCH, Thomson Reuters, etc. We're preparing for the AICPA big governing council meeting in October. And we'll be covering all those latest kind of national updates and trends in our Fall Town Hall series starting in end of October. The Maryland Managing Partners, we convened a think tank session, and they did a couple things. They prioritized federal and state legislative issues. So let me give you the quick rundown. On the federal level, retaining the cash basis tax method was number one. Number two was IRS service levels. And number three was the DOL overtime issue. As you know, we've been writing letters and advocating through the AICPA and on your behalf with all of these key issues. We think retaining cash basis is okay. We actually met with Congress a couple months ago. IRS service levels, I'm not as optimistic about. And the DOL overtime issue, we've joined a whole bunch of coalitions and hit that one really, really hard. Now let me tell you what the state legislative priorities are, again, from our Maryland managing partners. And then we discussed this with our board of directors. So number one is stop comparative fault. That's firm liability. That would be coming from the trial lawyers. The sister to that is the appeal bond work that we started last year and still are continuing. Number two, stopping anti-NDA and anti-non-compete agreements. There was legislation to nullify those agreements in Maryland. We joined the Maryland Chamber of Commerce in fighting that last year, and we expect that might be back again this year. State filing dates, this is proactive legislation. Our state tax committee is working with the Comptroller of Maryland to match Maryland's state filing dates with the new federal filing dates that went through this year. Sales tax, stopping sales tax on services, should it come up. And then firm mobility is another proactive piece of legislation we're looking at, which would give firms the same level of mobility that individual CPA licensees enjoy right now. Last thing I want to talk about is kind of the major issues kind of on their mind. Top issues facing CPA firms are, number one, finding qualified staff. Number two, retaining qualified staff. And number three is the seasonality and the workload compression. We'll be talking a lot about that in the town hall meetings, but that's where our pipeline initiatives, everything from students in accounting to new young professionals up to fully licensed CPAs, and obviously the swearing in ceremony. So with that, those are the top issues that Maryland CPAs need to know right now.